Is Dave natty?
Well, Matthew, I very much am extremely natty, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
I mean, you are not. You heard me right. I am 100% sure David Lade is not natural. And in this video, I'll explain why I think so and what his cycle might be. We'll take a look at his workouts, his diet, and his transformation, which he claims is natural. Enlightener here, and we start right now. First thing first, let's take a look at his transformation. You need to see this to understand what we're working with. Let's get into it. So, here we see David very skinny. You can see his veins on arms. His body fat percentage is very, very low. He starts working out and his physique changes drastically. Within first 3 years, he turns into a beast. I want you to notice that his body fat percentage never went over 9%, which is difficult to maintain for the overwhelming majority of population. In my opinion, it is not very optimal for muscle gaining, even though I do believe I have 9% of body fat myself. Considering this fact, we can already suspect him of steroid use from the very start of his fitness journey, but let's say he has incredible genetics, which might in fact be true. But let's take a look at this footage. Here you can see David deadlifting 4 plates on each side. Remember, it's just the start of his journey. Do you remember yourself starting in the gym? Most of you didn't even deadlift 2 plates, which is absolutely normal. Not everyone is gifted by nature, but 4 plates while being a teenager is absolutely impressive and suspicious at the same time. For a quick example, Larry Wheels, one of the strongest bodybuilders in the whole entire world, galaxy, universe. At the age of 19, his deadlift was 700 pounds for 3 reps. Now let's take a look at David's best deadlift. At the age of 17, so 2 years younger, he deadlifted 675 for 1 rep. He was younger, deadlifted just a little bit less for 2 reps less. And how impressive is this? Imagine being so strong that you're being compared to one of the strongest people on the planet. Also, do you really think Larry wasn't blasting a huge ton of steroids even at 19 years of age? Of course he was, even though he had one of the craziest strength genetics ever. So, this is yet another suspicious moment. Now, I want you to take a look at this from David's own channel. Here you can see how he trains with C-Bum, 5 times Mr. Olympia. David completed his set. Just look at how he performed.
That's about right.
Why'd you stop?
Because we have like all these other stats, I have to save my fuel.
That's not how working out works.
What?
You don't save your fuel.
But then you're just gonna be exhausted.
How are you gonna make any progress if you're not taking anything close to failure?
Do you really think it provides you enough stress to make your muscles grow? No, of course it doesn't. Even if he had 5 sets left, he could toss that workout in a trash can as it couldn't be any worse. Instead, you could buy my very own and one of the most effective training techniques, or even coaching, for both natural and enhanced athletes. More info in the description. Of course, you can skip this part if you don't care about getting more jacked and leaner and keep all the excessive weight off for the rest of your life. All right, let's get back. The most hilarious part, at that time he was 20 years old. It shows how incompetent and unaware of muscle growth mechanism he was. Or he was on steroids. Just think of it. He never wants his audience to see him small, which is also a reason why he wears a hoodie so often when he's not planning on doing photo shoots. But I want to emphasize this moment. David was aware of PED's effects. Even if he trains like this, he can still maintain such a physique without putting out any efforts. Could it be? Of course it could. Moreover, I'm convinced this was the case. Now I want to quickly tell you about a period in his life when his strength grew up significantly in a short amount of time. I didn't manage to find the video evidence, but I am sure some of you can find it if you are interested enough. So after him hitting his plateau, for those who don't know what it basically means he is stuck at progressing for a certain period of time. He stagnated for some time and then suddenly put on tens of pounds on his biggest 3. Squats went up from 405 to 460, bench press went up from 315 to 390, and deadlifts went up to his max PR of 675, which remains unbeaten to these days because of his back injury. Most of you out there know how hard it is to progress after hitting plateaus, especially after first 3 years of training, and getting so strong in no time after his plateau is unexplainable. Again, if you think I made this up, you can go and check it out on the internet. One could say that's enough to accuse David Lade of taking steroids, but we still have some footages to go through. Thanks to Yolk Fitness for this video.
Are we coming back or no?
No, I'm thinking Denny's, bullshit, rock bottom, trying to digest little gym. What? A little bit of.
Oh, do that.
He says he isn't sure whether he was talking about his cycle or not because of poor video quality, but the way he looked in the camera you could tell is not very confident. Do you agree? Another thing I want to talk about here, this is way too funny and awkward. At the beginning I demonstrated a part of Q&A video with David Lade on a channel named MattDoes Fitness. By the way, all channels that provided me information for this video are in the description. You can go and check them out. Now let's analyze that. I was literally laughing out loud when I first saw this one. Just look how this question caught David off guard. I just can't. He tried so hard to not look into the camera because he was ashamed so badly. And Matt knew it. Look at the way he smiled to David because he knew David is not natural. And a while after,
Fucking trend that I'm on, what?
David adapts to the situation and tries to make a joke to be more convincing, although more intelligent people understood the signs screaming that he is or was on steroids. By the way, let's talk about his cycle. Since he is sponsored by Gymshark, he can't talk about steroid. Contract simply forbids that. It's also one of reasons he never revealed his cycle. My best guess is that he is trying his best to make himself look natural. Although he failed a few times, as I said earlier, he elevates his dose when he is about to have a video with somebody where he has to expose his muscles, perhaps for his Instagram or whatever. You can also take a look at this picture where his traps are enormous, also a sign of using steroids. Compare these traps to those where his dose is lower, just to maintain his physique. Now, even his fans agree. David Lade is not natural. Let's get back to the topic though, because I'm not done with him yet. His off-season, if I can call it, so has much lower doses just to be healthy. He is a human after all. His relatives wants him to be healthy. He himself wants to be healthy, and there is nothing wrong about it. He lives for himself rather than for likes. Now let's go over his diet, what he eats to have such an impressive physique. He has been through a high carbs, moderate fats and moderate protein diet and a vegan diet with a lot of grains and veggies. Sometimes he has McDonald's like majority of us. There's nothing wrong as long as you are healthy and you don't overeat. There's not much to talk about. Also, he really likes sweet potatoes and beef for those who were interested. Overall, I think David does great for keeping his muscles without gaining more mass. But if he wanted to be as efficient as possible, of course it would be best if he picked my training technique or my coaching. Again, info in the description. Prices are very low and the quality is on point. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you liked this video. It took me hours to make. See you in the next one.